AITA for ruining my girlfriend's birthday by exposing her secret plan to propose. I'm 29 years old and had been with my girlfriend for 2 years. We had been living together for 8 months in my apartment, and I truly thought we were heading towards something serious. Her birthday was last Saturday. I had been planning that party for 6 weeks. I rented the private back patio of a craft brewery she loves downtown. I hired a DJ friend to handle the music. I coordinated everything with her coworkers and college friends so no one would miss it. I spent almost $4,500 in total because I wanted it to be something special. The weirdness started about 2 weeks before the party. My girlfriend started acting different, more secretive with her iPhone. She would leave the room to answer iMessages. She got defensive when I asked what was wrong. She said she was planning something special for her own birthday and didn't want to ruin the surprise. I thought maybe it was something sweet, like planning a getaway with me after the party. How nice, right? Wrong. 3 days before the party, her best friend came over to help me with decorations. My girlfriend was at work. The friend was also helping me with the guest list. We were reviewing who had confirmed via the invite link when she got a message and started laughing. "Oh God, he is so nervous," she said looking at her phone. "Who is nervous?" I asked. She looked up like a frightened deer. "No one, just a friend. A friend who is nervous about." She tried to stumble over her words, but she has always been a terrible liar. Her face turned red. She started stuttering, saying it was nothing and it wasn't her place to say. First I insisted gently, then I was more direct. Finally, she caved. "Okay, but you can't tell her I was the one who told you. She is going to kill me." "Tell me what?" "That her ex is coming to the party and is going to propose to her." I thought I had heard wrong. "What do you mean?" They started talking again about 2 months ago. They realized they should never have broken up. He is going to do everything right. He is going to get down on one knee when the cake comes out, and she is helping him plan it. I sat there unable to react. "She was going to tell you later," the friend continued, as if that made anything better. "Like right after accepting a marriage proposal from her ex at the party, I organized and paid for in front of all our friends. And what was I supposed to do? Applaud?" At least the friend had the decency to look ashamed. I told her that was wrong. She answered that with time I would understand, that the two of us were more like roommates. Roommates. 2 years together, living together, knowing each other's families, and we were just roommates. I didn't say anything else. I told her I needed air and went out to drive. That night, I didn't sleep. My girlfriend arrived around 11 p.m., gave me a kiss on the cheek, and went straight to sleep as if nothing were happening. I stayed up for hours staring at the ceiling trying to decide what to do. I am not one for confrontations. My first impulse was to cancel the party and break up with her quietly to avoid the humiliation. But then I thought about the nearly $5,000, the 6 weeks of planning, and the lies while I handled the catering and made personalized invitations. I thought about how much she disrespected me by believing I would accept being humiliated in public. By morning I had a plan. The next day, while she was at work, I got onto her MacBook. Yes, it was an invasion of privacy, but I think we had already passed that point. Her iMessages were synced with the laptop, and she had never logged out. I found everything. 2 months of messages with the ex, whose name is Ethan. I saw the whole story. I saw how they reconnected at a wedding in March, how she had been seeing him in secret, and how she said I was too stable and predictable and that she needed passion again. The proposal plan was all there. Ethan was going to interrupt the cake moment, give a speech about how they had always been meant for each other, and propose. She helped choose the ring. There were photos of her trying it on. I took screenshots of everything. Then I rented a high-quality projector. The party was in 3 days. I had a lot of work to do. Update posted the night of the party. My God, people, I don't even know where to start. Someone called me all sorts of names for entering her laptop. Fair, but I think we can agree the situation was out of control. This is how it happened. I spent the next 3 days acting totally normal. I finished the party preparations and confirmed the catering with the vendor. I sent the last reminders to the guests. My girlfriend made comments like, "Tonight is going to be unforgettable," and I just smiled and nodded. Ethan was on the guest list under the name College Friend. She had added him herself about a month ago when I asked for help finalizing the head count. I thought he was some grad school friend's boyfriend, so I didn't even ask. The day of the party arrived. The brewery looked beautiful with strung bistro lights, a photo booth, and a personalized banner that said Happy 30th. She was turning 30, A big birthday. About 60 people arrived. My girlfriend was radiant, and she seemed truly happy. At that moment, I thought it was because of the party. Today, I know she was just counting the minutes for her big moment. Ethan arrived around 8 p.m. I recognized him from old photos. He was tall, fit, and one of those guys who wears too much cologne and calls everyone bro. He made eye contact with my girlfriend from across the room, and they made a weird signal, like people confirming a secret mission. I had set up the projector earlier and told the venue staff it was to show birthday photos. Technically, it wasn't a lie. I had made a real slideshow, but it came right after my other presentation. Around 9:30 p.m., the DJ announced it was cake time. Everyone gathered around. My girlfriend was almost shaking with anxiety. Ethan started making his way through the crowd to get to the front. That was when I took the microphone. Before the cake, I prepared a little thing, a toast to the birthday girl and to our relationship. Her face changed instantly. Half panic, half confusion. "Love, it's not necessary," she started. "No, I insist. Everyone has to see this." I clicked the remote. The projector turned on. First slide. A screenshot of her message to Ethan where she called me boring and said I was more like a roommate than a boyfriend. The room went totally silent. Second slide. The messages planning the proposal. Her saying she couldn't wait. Ethan asking if she was sure about doing it this way. Third slide. The photo of her trying on the ring dated 3 weeks prior. That was when I spoke into the microphone. "Happy birthday. I think your surprise is going to need another venue." She stood there with her mouth open for several seconds. Then she started screaming. At first, they weren't even words, just a high-pitched sound of pure rage. "You ruined everything. You ruined my birthday surprise." "What surprise?" I asked, sincerely curious to see what she would invent. "The one where your ex proposes at the party I paid for." Ethan, to be fair, tried to play it cool. "Hey man, this is between you two. I don't want trouble." "Then maybe don't plan to propose to another guy's girlfriend at his own party." Just a thought. The best friend was crying in a corner. Some of her co-workers were grabbing their jackets to leave. Her mom. Yes, her mom was there. She just kept repeating, "Oh my God. Oh my God." My girlfriend finally managed to speak. "You got into my phone. You violated my privacy." "On your MacBook, actually." "And yes, I did. Why were you planning to humiliate me in public in front of everyone I know?" "I thought it fair to return the favor." "That is insanity." Insanity is believing you could accept a proposal from another man and then explain it to me as if it were normal. "Were you going to tell me later, after everyone applauded, what the plan was? Mention too that you were unfaithful for 2 months." She had no answer. The rest happened fast. Ethan tried to sneak out, but 2 friends of mine stood near the door. They didn't touch him, but they made his exit very uncomfortable. He stood there looking at the floor while my girlfriend unraveled. The mom tried to intervene. "Everyone needs to calm down. This is a misunderstanding." "What misunderstanding?" "Your daughter broke my trust and planned to accept another man's proposal at my party. The messages are there." She was confused. She didn't know what she wanted. She knew enough to choose a ring. That silenced the mom. I took my girlfriend's keys and put them in her hand. The apartment key, the car key. Sometimes she used mine. She had a copy of mine. "Your things will be ready by Monday. You can come by after 6 p.m. Don't come back before then." She started crying for real for the first time. "And where am I supposed to go?" I looked at Ethan, who was still trying to blend into the wall. "I'm sure he has room." And I left. The party cost me almost $4,500. It was the best money I have ever spent in my life. Update. For days later. The chaos afterwards was huge. First, I'm going to answer some things you asked. Yes, the apartment is solely in my name. She moved in with me, never got on the lease. I know this is complicated in some states regarding tenancy rights, but I talked to a lawyer friend. In our state, since I own the place and gave written notice via text that same night, I have a strong case. She has no right to stay without my permission. And no, I didn't keep the projector. It was rented. Now the updates. My ex showed up on Monday to pick up her things. She didn't come alone. She brought her mom, her sister, and Ethan, which I thought was a very bold choice. I had packed everything well, organized U-Haul boxes, folded clothes, and fragile things wrapped in newspaper. I can be resentful, but not destructive. She walked in and started crying immediately. "I can't believe you are doing this to me." "Doing what?" "Letting you take your things?" "Sounds pretty normal." The mom entered the conversation. You humiliated my daughter in front of everyone. Her coworkers were there. Her boss was there. Perfect. Now her boss knows she is untrustworthy, and that is not exactly my problem. Ethan tried to hurry everything up. Can we just grab the boxes and go? This is awkward. Oh, is it awkward for you to be in the apartment of the guy whose girlfriend you were seeing in secret? I imagine. He didn't answer. While they carried the boxes, my ex tried one last move. She pulled me aside, spoke softly, and put on a sad face. I know I messed up, but we had something real. Don't you even want to talk? It was 2 years. I was going to propose to you next month. Her face turned white. What? I already had the ring. I had a plan. I was going to do it at that Italian restaurant from our first date, but I guess you beat me to it, just with another guy. She started crying again. The mom called me cruel. The sister said I was abusive for not giving her a chance to explain herself. Explain what? 2 months of messages, ring shopping, and a plan to humiliate me in front of 60 people. What part of that needs explanation? They left after that. It took them almost an hour to fit everything into Ethan's SUV. Very romantic. But the interesting part came the next day. I started receiving messages from her friends. They weren't apologies, they were accusations. Apparently, my ex was telling another version. In her version, I had hacked her phone and fabricated the screenshots. She claimed I was controlling and possessive, and that she was already planning to leave me. She said the proposal thing was out of context. Out of context? How do you take, yes, I accept marrying you out of context? The best friend, the same one who told me everything, called to apologize. She said she felt terrible for having participated in the plan. I thanked her, but told her it was better not to maintain contact. It was too messy. Then came the part with mutual friends. We had many mixed circles. Some took my side instantly. They saw the slideshow. They knew what happened. Others were doubtful, especially those who only heard her version. I didn't try to convince anyone. I just said, the screenshots are real. Whoever wants to see them can see them. Other than that, believe what you want. More or less half of the friends stopped talking to me, and the other half stopped talking to her. A very clean split, to be honest. But what hit me most was her family. Her mom called me 3 times the day after the move. I didn't answer. She left voicemails ranging from, "We need to talk like adults," to "You destroyed my daughter's life." Then she sent a text saying that if I showed those screenshots publicly they were going to sue me. Sue for what? For showing real messages? Good luck with that in the US legal system. Her dad, who I actually liked, sent me just one message. "I am disappointed with the way you handled this." That hurt more than all the others. But now comes the most ironic part. Yesterday, I received a message from a co-worker of hers who was at the party. Apparently, Ethan broke up with her. Not in the moment. He stayed with her for about 2 days after the party. But then he sat down with her and told her he needed to think. He said all of that made him realize that maybe she wasn't the stable partner he was looking for. Stable. The guy planned to propose to another man's girlfriend at that man's party, and now he is worried about stability. So now my ex is single, publicly humiliated, and according to the coworker, in total despair. A small part of me even feels pity. Very small. The rest remembers she called me boring, that she treated me like I was worthless, that she thought I would accept being humiliated, and that she was willing to throw away 2 years for a passion. She got her passion. I hope it was worth it. Final update. 3 weeks later. This is the last update. Things finally calmed down, and I think I've processed enough to close this chapter. I'm going to tie up loose ends. The screenshot issue was resolved unexpectedly. The mom's threats to sue me came to nothing. Turns out you can't sue someone for sharing true information, especially when it was done privately at a gathering, not dumped on the internet. I never posted anything on social media. The ones who saw the screenshots were only the people who were at the party and saw them on the projector. But news travels, especially when 60 people witness something of that size. My ex's work situation got complicated. She works in marketing at a mid-sized company. From what I heard, it doesn't look good for your boss to see you being exposed as untrustworthy at your own birthday party. They didn't fire her. That would probably cause legal trouble or wrongful termination issues, but according to mutual contacts, they quietly moved her to another team. Less contact with clients, fewer visible projects. It wasn't my doing, just a consequence. The drama with Ethan continued for about a week after he broke up with her. She tried to win him back, sent him long and emotional messages, and even showed up once at his building. He told her to stop looking for him, or he was going to ask for a restraining order. A restraining order from the guy who was going to marry her. The irony would be funny if it weren't so sad. Her family finally stopped looking for me after I sent a very polite, but very firm message to the mom. I explained that any new contact would be treated as harassment and documented for potential legal action. A lawyer friend helped me draft it. It worked. The division between friends consolidated. I lost about 12 people who believed her version or simply didn't want to pick a side. I kept about 15 who saw what happened and drew their own conclusions. It is weird losing mutual friends. You don't realize how much your social life is built on couple life until the couple ceases to exist. Dinners, game nights, weekend plans. Everything changes depending on who keeps talking to whom. But honestly, the friends who stayed are better. They were the ones who wrote to me privately, asked if I was okay, offered to help me move furniture or go out to eat when the apartment felt too quiet. Quality is worth more than quantity. Now the emotional part. The first week after the party was heavy, very heavy. I would come home, still smell her shampoo, and had to stop myself from texting her. 2 years of habit don't disappear overnight. Sometimes I looked at old photos, not to torture myself, but to try to understand when everything changed, when she stopped being the person I loved and became someone capable of planning that. I don't think there was an exact moment. I think she just wanted something I couldn't give her, and instead of being honest, she convinced herself that I deserved what she was doing. That's how people who are unfaithful work. They always find a way to blame the other person. The ring I bought is still in my sock drawer. I should return it. The jewelry store has a 90-day return policy and the deadline is running out, but every time I think about going back to that store, I freeze up. Maybe next week. Some asked if I regret the projector thing, if I went too far. Honest answer, I don't know. Was it satisfying in the moment? Yes. Seeing her face when the screenshots appeared on the wall. Seeing her realize she had fallen into a trap. Seeing everyone putting the pieces together. That felt like justice. But it was also cruel. I took something private and made it public. I not only broke up with her, I ensured everyone knew why. There is a vindictive side to that, and I don't feel entirely comfortable with what it says about me. On the other hand, she was going to accept another man's proposal at my party in front of my friends, using an event I planned and paid for. If I had just broken up quietly, she would have told some story where she was the victim. At least this way, the truth remained clear. I think there was no right way to handle this, just different ways of being wrong. And from here on out, I am focused on work. I took on some extra projects. I went back to the coffee shop I had stopped visiting because it was our spot. I am reclaiming territory, I suppose. I am not ready to have a girlfriend again, not even close. The idea of trusting like that, building something to then watch it crumble. I can't stand it right now. Maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year, maybe never, but I am okay. Truly okay. The apartment is quieter, but it is mine. The friend group is smaller, but it is real. The future is uncertain, but at least it is honest. That is more than I can say for the last 2 years. Thanks to everyone who followed. You were strangely important in the worst moment of my life. Internet strangers showing up when I needed them most. Who understands it? Take care, trust your gut when something feels wrong, and maybe don't hang out with people who have Ethan on speed dial. Comment. Reading a story like this can leave us with mixed emotions, but the most important takeaway isn't about revenge. It highlights the importance of knowing your worth, especially when the person you trust most fails to respect it. Standing up for yourself is incredibly difficult, yet it's often the only path back to a life built on honesty and peace. We should never ignore that quiet inner voice that warns us when something feels off or when patterns begin to change. This journey also reminds us that a small circle of genuine friends is far more valuable than a room full of people who just want to be entertained. Healing from betrayal takes time, and it's perfectly okay to sit with that pain until you're ready to move forward. You can't force someone to value loyalty, but you can choose to remove yourself from situations that drain your spirit. Walking away from toxicity creates space for something real and healthy to eventually enter your life. Please remember to be kind to yourself during your own challenges, and never settle for being an option in someone else's life. I hope you find the courage to choose your peace today and every day. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.